Whenever we're doing a CRO audit, we start by thinking about all the different scenarios that bring people to the websites. What are the traffic sources? Are people coming through email, looking at an ad in Facebook? Are they reading a news article, maybe from an influencer, a post on Instagram? You start by thinking about those different scenarios because those scenarios will dictate how people are interacting with your website. I'll give you an example. Think about an urgent care clinic. If somebody is searching for the urgent care while they're driving a car, so they're on their mobile device and they're driving a car, it's a lot different experience, correct? It's a lot different mindset than somebody sitting at home probably and searching for an urgent care. When I'm driving the car, searching for an urgent care, I probably need the urgent care right then. So the information that I need is very, very quick. It's a lot different than I'm sitting at home. Maybe I need it, maybe I don't need it. I definitely don't need it right away, not as fast as somebody in the car. So you start thinking about the different scenarios that will bring somebody to your website. That's number one. Number two, you want to start analyzing and following that traffic. You follow the scent. As people are landing on your site, as they're going from one page to the next, you're looking at those pages and ask specific questions and you do specific evaluations. So at the very first level, you ask 3 questions. Do I know where am I? Do I understand this website? So that's one question. Do I know where should I click next? And do I know what happens if I click next? Those should be very clear on the page for any visitor who's coming, regardless of the traffic source. That's one framework. And then we evaluate the page using 2 different frameworks. One is very focused on usability. And for that, we use the 10 NNG usability principles. So we're evaluating different areas on the page to say, okay, is this page breaking some usability principles? The very first thing that we want to consider whenever we're thinking about a website and improving a website, well, people need to be able to use it. If you have a website and people are struggling using it, or they're clicking on something and nothing is happening, the result of them interacting with the page is not what they're expecting, you have a usability problem. You have a conversion problem, but you're starting with a usability problem. So we evaluate the page using those 10 principles. That gives us usability issues on the page, but then we move on to evaluate the page using our conversion framework, which is the 7 different principles in the conversion framework. We're looking at trust and confidence. We are looking at the personas. We're looking at FUDs. We're looking at incentives, engagement, buying cycle. We're looking at all the different principles in the conversion framework to say, okay, does this page increases trust and confidence in the mind of the visitor that landed on the website? If I don't trust you, if I feel that this website looks a little funky and looks a little bit strange, guess what? I'm not even staying there. I'm leaving. So we're always asking, are we making sure that the visitors feel that this is a website that I can trust? Are we addressing all the fears, uncertainties, and doubts that people have? Are we using incentives? Are we using engagement? We're asking all these questions. And sometimes we're asking up to 150 questions because those are the top level conversion framework principles. And they translate to about 150 different questions that you want to ask on the page. And as you're going through this process of asking those questions, you're jotting down, okay, well, this is a possible issue over here. This is another possible issue over here. You go through the website, you go through the different pages, you go through that experience, and then you collect all of that. And that gives you the initial, what we call the expert review of a conversion rate audit. We always prioritize because you might end up with 100, 120, 200 issues, correct? And just handing that over to somebody and say, well, here are the issues that I found on your website. That is problematic. What we do is we prioritize them. And prioritization is an art and science. Each item for us is marked and is scored against 18 different metrics. That helps us really identify which items have higher priority than others. Most companies are done when it comes to a conversion rate audit. We like to add a couple of things where we're looking at your analytics, we're looking at session recordings, we're looking at heat maps. We're not doing the full analysis of your session recordings, of your analytics, of your heat maps, but some of the data points that we can get from those can actually help guide the insights that we're finding in our expert reviews. And then we're also doing a little bit of customer research, not the detailed customer research that we do on a full project where we're spending weeks talking to customers, but that also helps inform our research. So when we do that, we combine all of that, we have a really good conversion rate audit document. Now, we do this a bit differently, by the way, because we start with one platform. We'll start with either mobile or desktop. And sometimes there's an overlap. About 60-70% of the issues will overlap between mobile or desktop or tablets. But then each platform has probably about 30% specificity to it, where, this issue is particular to desktop is actually non-existent on mobile or vice versa.